Hey everyone, tonight I'm going to be going over your Module 1 practice test and providing you with all solutions along with explanations and work to go with all of those solutions to help you study for your Module 1 test. This test does go in order of the module, so there are section numbers next to each question for where you can find the information, the section that you can find the information from to help you with these questions. Number 1 says there are 12 ghosts and 14 pumpkins. Write the ratio of pumpkins to ghosts in simplest form. Order matters for ratios. So when it says write the ratio of pumpkins to ghosts, it does not matter that they gave you the number of ghosts first and pumpkins second. We want to write the ratio of pumpkins to ghosts. When it says words first, that means write the fraction in words. So pumpkins over ghosts. Pumpkins over ghosts is going to be 14 over 12, but I want it in simplest form. The greatest common factor between 14 and 12 is 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So your answer here is actually 7 over 6. This ratio is a part-to-part, and it is a part-to-part ratio because they give you two different items. They don't ask you about a whole or a total amount. To explain the meaning, we are going to say that for every 7 pumpkins, there are 6 ghosts. So how are those things related? For every 7 pumpkins, there are going to be 6 ghosts. A part-to-whole relationship has a different kind of sentence. So this is the part-to-part meaning. Number 2 says Mr. Keim can do 30 math problems in 42 minutes. So I've got math problems and minutes. And Mr. Keim can do 30 math problems in 42 minutes. If he continues to work at the same rate, how long will it take him to complete 40 math problems? So the first thing I'm going to look at is, can I get directly from 30 to 40? If the answer is no, I'm going to skip the middle column and I'm going to go right to the last column. So I cannot multiply by something to get me directly from 30 to 40, so I know that I'm going to have to simplify in the middle. 30 and 42 have a 6 in common, so I'm going to divide by 6 in both places. 30 divided by 6 is 5, and 42 divided by 6 is 7. Then I'm going to go from 5 to 40, so I'm going to multiply by 8. So I'm going to multiply here by 8, and 7 times 8 is 56. So it will take 56 minutes. This was our first experience with ratio tables when we did them in section 1.2. Number 3 was about graphing points. So this says Ben mows 0.5 acre of a large field every hour. Generate the set of ordered pairs for the ratio relationship between the total acres mowed and the number of hours for a total of 1, 2, 3, and 4 hours. Then graph the relationship and describe the pattern in the graph. So this last box right here is going to be where we describe the pattern. Okay, that's why that box is there. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 hours. I started with half an acre. Then I'm going to go to an acre. 0.5 plus 0.5 is 1, not 0.1. And then 3 is going to be 1.5 acres. And then 4 is going to be 2 acres. Then I'm going to take these points and I'm going to put them on the graph. So I'm going to go over to 1 and then up to 0.5. Each hash mark is going to be 0.5. So over 2 up to the 1, over to 3 up to 1.5, and then 4 up 1. These 4 dots appear to be in a line. So I'm going to say the graph is a line because it goes up 0.5 units. Again, I'm going with how the graph is changing. So because every other line is 1, that means that every line is 0.5. And it goes to the right. The right 1 unit, because even though it skips a line, it's still only going over 1 whole unit. This sentence structure can be identical to what I have written here for any of these problems. Just make sure you change the values to express your ratio relationship in that problem accurately. Okay? So this sentence structure can be used for all of these graphing questions where it says to describe the relationship or describe the pattern. Just make sure you're changing your values appropriately. Number 4 says the graph shows the cost of a given number of pens. So for 1 pen, it's $4. For 2 pens, it's $8. For 3 pens, it's $12. So I'm going to continue that ratio pattern. I can make a table or I can continue on the graph. I chose to continue the table. So I've got pens and dollars. So 1 pen was $4, 2 was $8, 3 was $12. So 4 is going to be 16, 5 is 20, 6 is 24, and 7 is going to be 28. So the cost for 7 pens is going to be $28. You can continue this pattern on the graph and just keep making the dots until you get to that point. But here you're going to have to estimate because these do not go up by 4s. So I found the table to be a little bit easier. For number 5, it says that cereal brand A advertises that they have 10 raisins in their 4-ounce box of cereal. So I've got 4-ounce box of cereal with 10 raisins in it. The advertised ratio of ounces of cereal to raisins are shown for brand B and brand C. So here's brand B and here's brand C. Which brand advertises the greatest ratio of raisins to ounces of cereal? And we're going to show our evidence by graphing. So this is the one where we're going to graph all 3 lines on the same grid and talk about which line is the steepest. So I'm going to continue my pattern for brand A. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm going to make my graph a little bit bigger here. So I'm going to plot these points first. So 4, 10, 8, 20, 12, 30, and 16, 40. So 4, 10, 8, 20, 12, 30, and 16, 40. Those are all going to be slightly above brand C's dots. So this is brand A. We're going to make that look a little bit better. I'm going to go beyond the graph here. So brand A is all the way up here. I'll do brand C in black because it's already there. So there's brand C. And then I'm going to do brand B in red. So 6, 18, 12, 36, 20, 60 is going to be up here off the graph. So I'm going to plot what I can. This is going to be brand B. When I look at all 3 lines and their data all together, brand B is the steepest line. So brand B has the greatest ratio of raisins to cereal. Number 6 says some students in art class are mixing paint to make a shade of green. Colt uses 4 drops of yellow paint for every 6 drops of blue. Ethan uses 2 drops of yellow paint for every 4 drops of blue. And Amaya uses 5 drops of yellow paint for every 8 drops of blue. Which student has the greatest ratio of drops of yellow to drops of blue? So for Colt, I'm going to continue his pattern: 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and then 36. Ethan is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and then 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24. And then Amaya down here at the bottom is going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and 48. Now, because we're comparing these ratios, I want to know the greatest ratio of yellow paint to blue paint. That means that I want the blue paint to be the same. So if I look at all 3 of my tables, the blue paint is the same at 24 drops. So if I look at just those 3, 16 and 24, 12 and 24, and 15 and 24, Colt has the greatest ratio of drops of yellow to drops of blue, because when they all have the same amount of blue, Colt has the most yellow. Okay? So when they all have the same amount of blue, Colton has the most yellow. And again, that second quantity is the one that we want to be the same. Number 7 says the table gives the ratio of teachers to students at Upton Middle School. So at Upton Middle School, the ratio is 22 students to 1 teacher, and then they just continued the pattern in the table. At Lakeshore Middle School, the ratio of teachers to students is 12 to 228. Circle the statement that correctly compares the ratio of teachers to students at the 2 schools. So A, both schools have an equivalent ratio. There are more students per teacher at Lakeshore than Upton. There are more students at Lakeshore. There are more students per teacher at Lakeshore Middle School than at Upton. There are more students at Lakeshore than at Upton. Or there are more students per teacher at Upton Middle School than at Lakeshore. So they give me a table for Upton Middle School, but they do not give me a table for Lakeshore, but I can make a table. So if I make a table for Lakeshore, I'm going to make it exactly the same as how the Upton Middle School one looks. So I'm going to put students here, then teachers. And I've got 228 students to 12 teachers. Now, when I looked at this one, I said, well, if I get this to 1, I can compare it to this first line. So if I divide this by 12, 12 divided by 12 is 1. If I divide this by 12, I used my multiplication chart and I got 19. So now I can compare these 2 rows here. And I can say, well, Upton Middle School has 22 students per teacher, and Lakeshore has 19 students per teacher. So there are more students per teacher at Upton than at Lakeshore. So that's going to make D the correct answer. If they were equivalent, these 2 numbers would be the same, 19 and 22. If there were more students per teacher at Lakeshore, then Lakeshore's number, that 19, would be bigger. Part C says there are more students at Lakeshore than at Upton. Well, they don't tell us that. They just tell us the ratio of students to teachers, not how many students there are. So D is our correct answer there. For number 8, there's a couple different ways to do number 8. So it says to create a table or a tape diagram to help you solve. I can show both for this one. So this says 11 out of 19 people surveyed at the mall have a dog. And this out of is really important. This is a part to whole. Because they give us the total. Based on these results, of the 133 total people at the mall, how many don't have a dog? So again, we're being asked for how many don't have a dog. They tell us how many do. We're looking for how many that don't. So we do need all of the information here. So I'm going to have dog, no dog, and total. 11 out of 19 people have a dog. That means that 8 don't. And they surveyed 133 people. So I need to know how many times 19 goes into 133. So I'm going to look to my multiplication chart and look for 133 under the 19 column. And I get 7 times. So 19 times 7 is 133. So I'm going to multiply each of these things by 7. So there are 77 people that have a dog. There are 56 people that do not have a dog. So 56 people is our answer here. Again, they told me how many people have a dog, and I'm looking for how many don't. So you need all 3 parts of your table. Now to do this with a tape diagram, 11 out of 19 people means that my tape diagram has 19 total boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 boxes. Perfect. And then at 11 boxes, that's where I'm going to draw my line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So these are the ones that have a dog. And this is no dog. And then total, I've got 133 people. So 133 divided by 19, again, is 7. So in each of these boxes, I'm going to have 7 people. And then I want to know how many people are on this side of the line that do not have a dog. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 7 is still 56 people. So that shows you how to do it with a tape diagram and a table. Going forward, I'm just going to show the tables. So number 9 says Ellie has 4 dimes for every 7 pennies in her change purse. So I've got dimes, pennies, and coins. This for every is your part to part. So up here, out of meant part to whole. For every means part to part. So 4 dimes for every 7 pennies, which means there's 11 coins total. It says how many total coins would she have? That means I'm looking for this coins column down at the bottom. if she has 36 dimes. So to get from 4 to 36, I'm going to multiply by 9. So 7 times 9 is 63. 11 times 9 is 99. I could have also found the 63 and the they gave me the 36. I could have found the 63 and add them together to get 99. This is going to be 99 coins. Again, I'm not showing the tape diagram here, but if you want to use one, you may. Number 10 says the ratio of juniors to seniors on the track team is 5 to 9. So when it says the ratio of, and then your 5 to 9 here, that's a part-to-part relationship. So when I make my table, I'm going to have juniors, seniors, and total. The ratio of juniors to seniors is 5 to 9, and that would mean that there are 14 total. How many juniors are on the track team? If there are 112 athletes on the team, so 112 goes in that total column. So I'm going to use my multiplication chart, and I'm going to go to the 14 column. And I'm going to look for how many times 14 goes into 112. It's going to be 8 times. So 5 times 8 is 40, and 9 times 8 is 72. How many juniors are on the track team? There are 40 juniors. Number 11 is a unit conversion question. So the weight of the items in a truck is 2 tons. How many pounds do the items in the truck weigh? So here's my first unit, 2 tons. Here's my second unit, pounds. So I'm going from tons to pounds. In 1 ton, there are 2,000 pounds. And I will be giving you guys these ratio conversions, so you do not need to know your unit conversions by heart. So now I'm going to make a ratio table. And that ratio table is going to include my units, tons, and pounds. The order does not matter as long as I am associating the correct value with the unit. So for tons, I'm going to have 1 ton and 2,000 pounds. And they gave me 2 tons. So to get from 1 to 2, I'm going to multiply by 2. So when I multiply by 2 on the bottom, I get 4,000. So the answer is 4,000 pounds. Number 12 is also a unit conversion. We are going from 5 pints of iced tea to fluid ounces. When you look at your unit conversion tables, pints are connected to cups. And cups are then connected to fluid ounces. In 1 pint, there are 2 cups. In 1 cup, there are 8 fluid ounces. So this one, I'm going to have 2 tables. I'm going to have 1 table that goes from pints to cups. And I'm going to have 1 table that goes from cups to fluid ounces. I'm going to start with pints to cups because they gave me pints. So to go from pints to cups, I'm going to have pints and cups in no particular order. In 1 pint, there are 2 cups, and they gave me 5 pints. To get from 1 to 5, I multiply by 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. This number is the one that's going to go in my next table. So this one, when I make my next table, I'm going from cups to fluid ounces. This is the one that's going to go under the number of cups. So in 1 cup, there are 8 fluid ounces. So I want to know how many there are in 10 cups. To get from 1 to 10, I multiply by 10. So times 10 is going to be 80 fluid ounces. Again, you do not have to memorize the unit conversions. They will be given to you. Number 13 says a bicyclist traveled 45 miles in 3 hours. How many miles per hour did they travel? Per hour means that the hours go on the bottom of your rate. So 45 miles in 3 hours. To get my unit rate, I have 45 miles in 3 hours, and I want to get to 1 hour. So I'm going to divide by 3 in both places. 45 divided by 3 is 15. So 15 miles in 1 hour. These are the two answers that I'm looking for here. Notice that the first one is the rate written in the correct order with units. And the second one is the unit rate with a 1 on the bottom, again in the correct order with units. For number 14, it says Sally bought 5 notebooks for $4. How much did she pay for each notebook? So for each notebook is going to be your bottom. So $4 for 5 notebooks. So I've got dollars and notebooks. $4 for 5 notebooks, and I want to know how much for 1 notebook. So I'm going to divide by 5 here. Now when you divide by 5, remember for money, if I'm trying to get to 100 pennies, I'm trying to get to $1, I'm going to multiply by 20. And 4 times 20 is 80. So this is actually going to be 80 cents. So 4 divided by 5 is going to be 0.8. Or if you say 80 cents, that would also work. So I'm actually going to write my unit rate in both ways. So I'm going to have 80 cents for 1 notebook. Written with a dollar sign, or I'm going to have 80 cents written with a cent sign for 1 notebook. Again, notebooks are on the bottom because it says for each notebook. And for a unit rate, you want to find the cost of 1 notebook. So it's really important that that bottom be a 1 for your unit rate. For number 15, we're back to 1.8b. So comparing those rates and getting to another type of rate. So Lisa rides her bicycle 18 miles every 18 miles every 10 hours. So I've got miles and hours. I ride 18 miles every 10 hours. At this rate, how many hours did Lisa ride if she rode 72 miles last week? Well, 18 times 4 is 72. So 4 times 10 is going to be 40 hours. So this one we were only scaling forward. And again, you're using that rate to adjust to answer the question about that same rate. Number 16 is the cans of soup question. So a warehouse sells cans of soup in a case. Each case contains 4 cans and sells for a price of $15. So I've got the warehouse. I've got dollars and cans. And it's going to be $15 for 4 cans. I don't like how that looks. $15 for 4 cans. Then I've also got a grocery store that's selling the same cans, so dollars and cans. I've got $28 for 7 cans of the same soup. And the caterer wants to buy 56 cans. So to get from 4 to 56, I'm going to multiply by 14. And to get from 7 to 56, I'm going to multiply by 8. So 15 times 14, 4 times 5 is 20, 4, 60, 5, and 1. So 210. And then 28 times 8. We'll do that really quick up here. So 64, 8 times 2 is 16, 22. Okay. And then it says, how much will the caterer save by buying 56 cans from the warehouse instead of from the grocery store? So I'm going to subtract 224 minus 210 is going to be $14. So I can see that it cost more at the grocery store than it did at the warehouse. I want to know how much more. It would cost $14 more to buy them at the grocery store. For number 17, it says you mix 24 tablespoons of chocolate sauce and 6 cups of milk in a green cup. In an orange cup, you mix 5 cups of milk with 15 tablespoons of chocolate sauce. Which mixture tastes more chocolatey? So this is like the salsa question. Which one is spicier? In this case, which one is more chocolatey? So I've got a green cup. And I've got an orange cup. So tablespoons and cups, tablespoons of chocolate, and then cups of milk. So there are 24 tablespoons with 6 cups of milk, and there are 15 tablespoons with 5 cups of milk. If I get this down to 1 by dividing by 6 to have those comparisons be the same, I've got 4 to 1. Here, if I divide by 5 to get that 1 on the bottom to compare, I get 3. Here, instead of having the same number of cups of salsa, or instead of having the same number of tablespoons of hot sauce, now I'm looking at what if they had the same amount of milk? Which one's going to be more chocolatey? Well, the green bowl is going to be more chocolatey because it has more chocolate sauce for the same amount of milk. So it's the opposite of the salsa question. So this one, I got the cups to be the same so that the number of tablespoons would tell me which one would have the stronger flavor. So in this case, because this one has 4 and this one has 3, the one with 4 has a stronger chocolate taste because it has the same amount of milk, but more chocolate. This is every single answer on the practice test. You do not have to memorize the conversion chart. Those will be given to you. You may also use your multiplication chart on the test. You are also going to be allowed a note card, so please choose your information wisely. If you have any questions beyond this video, please let me know, and I will answer them as best as I can before Tuesday. Good luck.